Et la question au départ, c'était on va jusqu'où? Est-ce qu'on veut entendre M. O'Toole?
Nobody won, and that was a little bit disappointing. After 2 hours of listening to four men argue, no one came out really with a clear sign of, wow, we did something impressive. And that's for me, the takeaway was, wow, that was 2 hours I'm not going to get back.
Plenty of bickering, but no real winner after the first debate of this federal election. Analyst Karim Bullis says no leader went off script or landed anything like a knockout punch, but Quebec's 78 seats could be crucial in any minority government.
It's a great place to pick up a tremendous amount of influence because at this point, the numbers are showing that whoever wins will likely have a minority government. So Quebec could represent the balance of power.
The nearest thing to fireworks happened when NDP boss Jagmeet Singh and Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet became embroiled in a dispute about systemic racism. Blanchet called on Singh to apologize to a BQ member who voted against a motion on systemic racism in the RCMP. At the time, Singh called MP Alain Thérien a racist, resulting in Singh's ejection from the House of Commons. The BQ say Thérien voted nay because the Public Safety Committee was already looking into the same issue, but Singh hasn't backed off from his belief.
Whether folks are comfortable calling it systemic racism or institutional racism, it is clear that when we look at what happened to Indigenous people, it was by design. It wasn't by chance or by mistake. It was clearly a design to strip Indigenous people of their language, their culture, and their identity by stripping kids from their families and taking them to residential institutions.
Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau was repeatedly attacked for his decision to call an election during a fourth wave, but Trudeau continues to insist that he needs a majority to carry out his ideas.
And we are the only ones with a plan to get through this pandemic with real leadership. And that's not just good for the pandemic and health side of things. It's also what allows us to recover our economy, to recover jobs, and to make sure we are building better on climate change, on housing, on healthcare, and on childcare.
Aaron O'Toole, meanwhile, clarifying his position on assault-style firearms. At the debate, O'Toole said he'd maintain the current ban introduced by Justin Trudeau, but the Conservative platform clearly says he'd repeal the May 2020 order making that ban.
We will maintain the ban on assault weapons. We will also, as I said today, work with police on gang violence, which has gone up incredibly over the last few years, and target the illegal smuggling of firearms. If you speak to police and law enforcement, the increase in violence in our cities is driven by organized crime, by street gangs using illegally smuggled firearms. We will go after it.
Party leaders will have another chance to make their impression with the remaining two debates scheduled for next week. The French language debate is first on Wednesday night with English on Thursday. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.